I'd like to illustrate a composition methodology that's not being talked about at all, but that's been used to create some of history's greatest artworks. It's a methodology that is not being talked about, but that I have tried to illustrate through the works of Monet and Matisse and de Kooning. But I've never really tried to demonstrate how to use this technique in order to create structured images. So I'm going to do that today. The idea is based on the notion that you want to balance an image. And the reason you want to balance it is because humans are attracted to structure, to order. If you sat down at a piano and just played a bunch of wild notes all over the place, nobody would be particularly interested in that. However, if you can structure it in a way that people will be interested, that creates order and that can help you to communicate your ideas, then people are going to want to listen. And in the case of imagery or photography, are going to want to look at your images. And so the idea is splitting the two parts or balancing the two parts of the image so that they're working in relationship to each other. No longer just creating mechanical recordings of reality, but transforming your visual experience into something that is structured, that can communicate your ideas. So if we were to split an image left and right, for example, and we wanted to balance that, the idea is that dark objects sometimes appear heavier than bright objects, psychologically heavier. I don't mean physical weight, I mean psychological weight. So for example, that tree on the right there carries a lot of psychological weight because it's dark, and thereby kind of serves to counterbalance my face. But it's not just the tree trunk, it's everything over here. It's the leaves on the ground and the green leaves up on the tree. Everything on the right is working to asymmetrically balance everything on the left. And of course, the middle of the frame is also going down my face. So part of my face is actually contributing to the right side of the image. I hope I'm not confusing you. It's very exciting because two parts of an image can be extremely different from each other, yet balancing each other. And that's the whole beauty of this method, is it opens up this tremendous flexibility in how you compose an image. No two images will look the same because the composition is actually dictated by the environment, by the reality that's presented to you. Every little tree trunk there in the right and that person back there is contributing to the composition. And with that, it offers the ability to have precision control over every millimeter of the frame. So I'm going to demonstrate this for you a little bit better without my face. So I'm going to turn on the camera and just randomly bring it up here and look for something that's balanced. Well, that's kind of interesting. The little sliver of tree branch or tree trunk here on the right, and this very angular shape here in the tree branch, and the V shape in the sky right here is serving as the weight on the right side, and all of these other figures, the telephone pole and the tree trunk, the three tree trunks on the left, are serving as the counterbalance. Let me get back to what I had before. And there you have a balanced composition. Of course, the path on the bottom left also is an important part of the structure as well, and these telephone wires. No longer do telephone wires have to be a nuisance that you're trying to work around. You can incorporate them in to create beautiful angles and beautiful compositions. These leaves on the ground represent kind of the ultimate in chaos. There's no structure or order. And you might ask yourself, well, how do I take a photograph of this so that it has some meaning, so people can enjoy it, or even I can enjoy it later? Because if I took a picture like this, I would not enjoy it later. It would just be a throwaway. But if we go in a little bit, we can try to sort it out and create some structure. We can create some order from the chaos here. For example, that's kind of nice because we've got on the bottom right a dark object, and middle right another dark object counterbalanced by the bright object on the top and over on the left. Let's try again. See if we can find another. That's kind of nice too. On the right, you've got the dark purple, the small dark purple versus the large bright yellows on the left. And that's asymmetrical balance because the dark objects appear heavier psychologically in weight, counterbalancing the brighter objects on the right. So this is a way that I create images that consistently tell the story that I want. As I mentioned, it created a huge uplift in the quality of my images, and I hope that you can take some of these ideas to structure your images and improve your ability to tell the stories that you're wanting to tell.